Hello everyone, welcome to the Scoff and Rant. Today we're going to be making yam chips, and this is what a yam looks like. It's it's an African root vegetable, and it's sort of a very good source of carbohydrate. It's almost similar to a potato or a sweet potato, but the texture is different. It's sort of
Crunchy.
It sort of has a soft, cloudy taste on the inside. But yeah, more about the taste when we cut it up and fry it. But first of all, you need to cut it up, and it looks, to make the chips and get the long streaks that you want, you cut the yam into two, and then you peel it. Now we've peeled the yam. Don't get too afraid if you have little sort of like specks on it and stuff like that. I mean, it's a vegetable, it's not meant to be pretty, it's not an oil painting. Just pick it out with a knife. You know,
That's what I said.
and that's it, and that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into round discs like that. So when you cut yam, it oxidizes very quickly, which means it, you know, if you leave it outside, it discolors. So you've got to get a boil of water ready and just drop the cut bits into it. Now we need to make it like chips. It's not going to be exactly like a chip because it's different. But what we're going to do is, this is the smallest disc. I'm just going to cut it up like that, remove the ends off, okay? And then just cut it into 1, 2, 3, and 4. So everyone, we've cut the yams up. This is half a yam. Depending on how much you want to eat, you can go for a whole yam, 2 yams, 3 yams. That's a lot for a lot of people, but we've cut them up and this is what they look like. It's still soaking in water. We're gonna now go on to deep frying it, so I'll show you that in a bit.
Aramide is afraid of the Ororo, so he's shaking out the water.
Okay, so basically,
Here we go.
I put my chips into a frying basket.
His phone is fake.
I'm just going to drop that into some oil that's been heating for about 5 minutes, so it's really hot, and just watch, guys.
The Ororo is
Be very careful with this, you know, it might just, you know, splatter all over you, so you don't want that to happen. Like a shh.
So you see, it's frying, it's crispy, it's hot. Be very careful with hot oil. Try to keep your station tidy at all times. Now he's mashing up the meat. As you can see, he has mixed up 100% beef with 80% pork.
My friend has just highlighted something so serious that I didn't think of. Basically, if you're going to be doing this, just use 100% beef or 100% pork. But I mixed beef and pork together, and it looks like some dirty, God forbidden something. It just doesn't look nice. So that's what it looks like, but hopefully it'll taste good. But don't ever do this. Just use 100% beef or pork, or whatever you want to use. It looks
80-20. 80-20 is
so
best.
basically, we've named this mixture 80-20 because it's like 80% beef, 20% pork.
No, it's not.
Alright, so everyone, this is a pork burger. Good Jesus.
Now we go and check on the chips. It has not done. You have to shake it. Normally in Africa we use more oil than this so that the thing will done well. But Aramide is stingy, so we use little oil.
Capsule breadcrumbs.
Ooh.
The tastiest.
Crunchy.
Okay, so the next step is you crack an egg into it. I'm putting 2 eggs because it's quite a lot of meat.
Bork.
So this is what the shaped borks look like, and we're just gonna fry these on the cooker. See you in a bit. So now we're gonna make the buns, and I've basically got a starter here, and you use some dry yeast. You dissolve it in warm water. It's got to be sort of like bath temperature warm, and then it dissolves, and you can sort of smell the yeasty smell. If it's too hot, you could kill the yeast, so you just want it warm. So I dissolved some yeast in water, and I put some plain flour in it, and I've got this sort of stretchy. It's yeah, if you look at it, it's quite stretchy, and it's sort of quite foamy and frothy. I put in some milk into this mixture. I'm just going to use sort of like half a cup. I'm going to use some melted butter, which I've melted already, and that's going to go in. It's important this is cool, so you can't put some hot melted butter into something that eggs are going to go into. And that's gone in. Okay. I'm going to crack 2 eggs into it. I'm going to put a tablespoon of sugar. Now we're just using some bread flour, and I'm going to put 2, this is cups. I'm going to put 2 cups of flour inside. Put that in your mixer and just go away. Depending on how wet the mixture is, I'll just add more flour. If it's quite dry, then I might just put a little bit more milk. If it's quite wet, I'll just put more flour inside. So it's just sort of adjusting as we go along. So now we've got the dough out of the mixer. And the kind of texture you should have is something that when you squish, it comes back. It's sort of, I don't know how to explain it properly. So you can sort of see it push back. And it's like very springy. You don't want it hard, you just want it quite springy. We're going to put this in a warm place to rise for about an hour, and then we'll re-knead and put it in a warm place again. We'll re-knead and shape it, and then it'll rise for about half an hour, and then we'll bake. Au revoir! So I'm going to take the burger and I'm going to put it into a hot pan.
It sizzles.
And it's going to sizzle. The pan has been lightly oiled, just because I don't want it to stick. But you don't need a lot of oil. And I'm going to do two burgers at a time.
Why?
And I just hope this doesn't splatter on my...
Don't be a sissy, put 4.
Okay, I'll put 4. The Nigerian says to put 4.
Yeah.
Naturally, I would have gone for medium rare, but the black people I'm cooking for don't like to eat blood.
We don't eat the blood. We eat the meat, the brown meat.
Okay, so anyway, this is going to be on here, and I'm going to try and do it for like 7 minutes, because they want it really well cooked, about 5 minutes aside. Alright, so the dough for the burger buns has been sort of resting and rising for about
forever.
An hour and a half now. We just couldn't wait for the 2 hours or however long. So it doubled in size, and we're just gonna, and I'm gonna take a knife and cut it into I've cut it into 4, and I'm going to go sideways and cut it again. So this is going to be into 8 parts. And what I'm now going to do is just take each part and roll it up into a circle. I'm going to take an oven tray and put some flour on it. Okay. And I'm going to put this on here. Just put that on the side there. And I'm going to do the rest with all of these buns. Basically, now so now I've sort of molded these and made them round. We're just going to let it rest for another half an hour to 45 minutes, and they will double slightly in size, and then we'll stick them in the oven for about 45 minutes on 250. So this has sort of been resting a second time for about 45 minutes. You can see that it's doubled in size now, and we're just going to brush it with some egg, and so that when it bakes in the oven, it has this sort of golden brown color, which is really nice, and it doesn't sort of look anemic and pale. Right, everyone, here we have it. Ta-da! This is the burger, and this is the avocado puree, or whatever you whatever you want to call it. Look at our yam chips. We've roasted some carrots and some corn, and this is our burger. And I plated it with like some lettuce. I've used the avocado dip as sort of like the butter on both buns. It's got some ketchup. It's got some sort of
yeah, it's really good.
So we're just gonna go off and scoff now. We were gonna rant before, but my goodness, we're just
hungry.
tired. We're hungry, and I think that's our rant. So thank you very much for watching again. See you next week. Oh